Bronzeville Winery is the latest business venture from entrepreneur Eric Williams. With his partner and co-owner Cecilia, Bronzeville Winery opens April 20th in the historic Chicago neighborhood and will feature a menu paying homage to the flavors of the African diaspora, paired with wine, craft cocktails, and beer. The Chicago Defender spoke with Eric and Cecilia about the winery, the importance of investing in a community, and their future plans. Well, thank you guys so much for speaking with me. Super excited to talk to you guys. I saw the announcement on Instagram and instantly reached out to you guys because I've been waiting very patiently for you guys to open. So can you guys tell me, why a winery? Why did you guys decide that you wanted to put a create a winery in Bronzeville?
Well, I can start if you don't mind, and Cecilia can go into more detail. But so I guess I got to start. Technically, I guess it's not a winery, which now I have to kind of always start with that. Okay. It's a wine bar, but the word winery to me had a certain kind of cachet to it. But the focus being on wine, you know, a lot of people I know, you know, love wine. They've been to the vineyards, and it's this whole like world of Black enthusiasts about wine that I actually didn't really know about.
Oh,
and I'm another asterisk. I'm not a big drinker, huge drinker, but the last couple of years, somebody I was dating, she was a wine drinker, and I started to like learn a little bit about just the whole art and culture of wine drinking. I thought it was kind of cool, you know. But then I would hear friends of mine who live in the neighborhood. They went to this wine place in the suburbs. They went to this wine place on the north side. They went to this wine place somewhere else. And I'm just like, why are we taking our money in Bronzeville? Because I actually live on 39th and Cottage Grove, so I'm literally down the street.
Right there.
We're taking our money and spending it somewhere else, you know, and knowing, you know, and being in Bronzeville for the last 7 years and knowing what's there and what's coming, you have a lot of folks with a lot of money who want to celebrate their own community. And so to me, it just made sense. Like, let's build this a vision of a place that you go somewhere else in your own neighborhood. So I wanted to lead with wine. I wanted people to know that it was not, you know, a bar per se. And, you know, it's a restaurant. It's a full service restaurant also. But I wanted wine to kind of be the center that we would kind of gravitate around. When you come in, you think about this idea of wine. It's a little bit more of an elevated experience, I think, when you talk about wine, I feel like. So.
Well, for those that aren't aware, can you tell me what is the Bronzeville Winery? Well,
I mean, it's a wine bar. It's a full service restaurant. A lot of the emotion I put into it was about art, literally from the walls. They're printed with a friend of mine whose art's on the wall. The music, you know, I think about all the sensations of our senses, you know, from the food to how it smells to how we hear things. It's just it's a great experience. Again, that you can walk to a lot of times, or drive a couple blocks, you know, or ride your bike to. And to give you that same experience, but culturally relevant to this community without having to go downtown and go to the north side. So,
Now, Cecilia, how did you and Eric connect and eventually begin to partner?
Well, I've actually known Eric for quite some time, about 20 years. I used to live across the street from the old Silver Room. And during that time, I think we would always speak, and I've always had a really great mutual respect for each other. My background is in hospitality and restaurant design. And most recently, I've focused that on wanting to figure out systems and create systems that created more equitable ecosystems through business. So Eric came to visit when I was in New Mexico. I just opened my first restaurant, and we were kind of talking through his idea, and he's like, I have this idea. And then it was just an idea, you know, and I think that once we talked it through and, you know, I became more passionate and then realized how much of an impact it would have on the community, you know, I became more and more excited. So, you know, we talked about it for probably a good year. We keep looking at the records, but probably for a good year, we spoke about it, and then, you know, wound up approaching and trying to get the NOF City of Chicago grant. And we're able to get that. And then really focus on actually moving forward the steps to get the restaurant open. So, you know, it's been a long time coming, but I think that being in a partnership with someone like Eric, for me, has made the project well worth it. And also being able to impact the community in the way that we have, whether it's, you know, developing a young chef who it's her, you know, first time being executive chef, to being able to sit in orientation and have people understand the history of Bronzeville from all of our staff members. So I think for me, the project just kind of keeps giving back to me, and that feels really great.
I always remember the stories that my grandparents told. My grandparents were jazz musicians in Bronzeville, Club de Lisa, those kind of areas. And they would always tell me what Bronzeville was like. There was food, there was music, there was shopping, there was culture, and it was so vibrant to the point where they never felt the need to go downtown or, to other communities. Everything they needed, entertainment, grocery, everything was right there. And so I think it's really cool that you guys are adding this element, because I have not seen anything like this that's owned by us. Outside, there is a space in the suburbs, but I see these kind of locations like in Brooklyn, where it's a combination. It's not just food or wine. It's music, it's art, and it's really kind of an extension, if you will, of what you have at the Silver Room. They're known for having music and art and Black creatives kind of celebrated. Was that kind of the intention of kind of expanding this with the winery?
Yeah, for sure. So to your first point you brought up, we always many times talk about Bronzeville from a historical perspective, of what it used to be, and my grandmother came from Mississippi during the Great Migration, 1923. And I hear her stories about it, what it used to be, and I think sometimes we feel comfortable talking about the past in some ways without thinking about, well, what about now?
Right.
Like what can we create now? So that was a big part of that. Was I was kind of tired of talking about what it used to be. Like let's make that now. So 30 years from now, folks will talk about Bronzeville in the present. So that was a big part of that. Was definitely to give honor to what happened in the past and all the musicians, the stroll and all of that, but let's kind of recreate that in a contemporary way. So that was part of it. And the other part that you mentioned was definitely like the Silver Room has been inspirational because we've created this family for almost 25 years now in this block party. And I literally know thousands of people like who come to the store, and I love retail for sure. But I felt like, okay, you come into the store, we have a communication, we have a discussion, you listen to music, you buy something, and then like you go. Then I'm always like, okay, where do you go now? Because people will ask, what do I do next? And I'll say, go to Virtue, blah, blah, but it's not many places to really go. Right. So this was like, well, this extension is like, okay, now that you had the Silver Room experience, the next step is our sister, business is like this other thing you can go to after you shop. Now you can go have a drink. So it just and literally we'll be sending every single customer we'll be sending in their bags. We'll be like, go over here.
What's in wine?
So it's like this natural like portal we have to send people over there, because you'll have a great experience at the store and you'll have that same experience at this restaurant.
Well, you guys have always been known. The Silver Room was known for supporting particularly local Black creatives in some of their endeavors. What are you guys doing with the winery to support the community? Are you guys offering any special programs or any kind of mentorship to aspiring chefs or people who want to get into the hospitality industry?
Yeah, you can talk about that, Cecilia.
Yeah, I mean, I think we tried to look at it from and approach that subject from many assets. So first being, what tables and chairs are we going to put in the restaurant? We actually had a local Black designer from the South Side, Norman Teague. We saw tables and chairs we wanted. Eric's like, this whole process has been Eric saying, I know a guy. He's like, I know a guy who could probably do that through here. And so we sat down with Norman and his team, and he was able to employ his team to design and create every single table and chair that's in the restaurant right now. Much of the spaces that we have, like urban produce, as far as our menu goes. So we'll be using them. It's a local Black farm from the west side of Chicago. And so we'll be using them on our menu. They'll be continuously refreshing our greens that are in-house. So for us, I think we wanted to figure out supply chain as we are busy and we are becoming an economic driver. How do we take the community with us by using our buying power? I think it's also the conversations that we've been having. I think when we looked at who our general contractors are going to be, who our partners were going to be, I've trained my team that the first question we ask is, what are your initiatives to give back to the female or Black community? What does your leadership team look like? And I mean, I would say 8 times out of 10, it's a blank stare. But at least they go back to their team and they begin to start to have that conversation, or even just challenging. You know, what do you do for our community, or how are you involved with our community, to be able to have that be a dictating note in our patronage for anyone. So, you know, I think it's our buying power, our decisions, and the economic impact that we can have. And then as far as a development standpoint, we do have cross-training promotions, or cross-training sort of promotional opportunities. So our dedication to our chef is, in 2 years, we want to make sure that you can have your own restaurant. So we need to make sure that your junior sous chef, we're training you to be moved up, and in 2 years you will be the leader of this kitchen. Every single year we will put one person through a sommelier school so we can have more Black sommeliers. You know, so I think it's not just one thing; it's a constantly moving forward initiative. We had the Bronzeville QCDC come into our orientation and make themselves available as a leader and a sounding board for any young Black entrepreneurs who work on our team. You know, if they have an idea and they want to start a business, being able to not only talk to myself and Eric, but be able to meet with our local QCDC to be able to help create more entrepreneurs. This isn't just, you know, a restaurant job. We want to be able to start the seed, but also be able to nurture that seed to see them grow.
I think that's how you really built that ecosystem that everybody talks about, that's so necessary in our communities, is exactly what you guys are doing. I think that's dope. Can you guys talk to me about the grand opening, your event, April 20th? What can patrons expect when they walk through those doors?
So I'd be very clear. There is no grand opening.
No grand opening.
And I say that because everyone asks for a grand opening, and we have 100 seats, and I know like 20,000 people.
Right.
So I feel like I can't have a grand opening because I'm just gonna make everybody mad. Man, I can't come to your party. Man, I tried to get in. I already know it's gonna happen. It happens at the store sometimes.
Right.
So I'd like, you know, rather than look at this as a grand opening, this is the first day of a long, long time it's gonna be open. So the 20th is special, but the 29th is gonna be special. June 15th is going to be special. You know what I mean? September 3rd is going to be special. So I think all the days are special. Just we had to start somewhere. So that's the first day. We are taking reservations only for right now because of the demand. I don't want people to come and, you know, can't get in. So I'm trying to kind of set the expectation of you have to make a reservation so we can know who's coming. We can best serve all of the, you know, the guests that are coming. So that's it. But you know, the block party's coming up too in July. We're going to be doing some collaboration with the restaurant and the block party. You know, for me, music is a big part of this too. So definitely make sure we incorporate that, you know, live music also, as well as, you know, DJs and, you know, and other kind of art opening. So, you know, I'm looking forward to it.
Well, thank you guys so much. I appreciate talking to you guys.
All right.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.
This is Danielle Sanders for the Chicago Defender.